Vipers Voices from the Dubai International Stadium, and it's 1-1 for the Desert Vipers, a victory over the Sharjah Warriors, and a convincing victory as well, thanks to some solid bowling and also some excellent batting from Alex Hales and Sam Billings. I've got batting coach Neil McKenzie alongside me. Neil, that really was an excellent partnership between Sam Billings and Alex Hales, wasn't it? Because there was pressure when those two came together. It was 15 for 2.
Yeah, I think chasing 146 is always a little bit of in-between type of target, especially we know there was going to be a bit of swing on display up front. So yeah, we lost those two early wickets, and the guys came together, and a really quality partnership. Feel a little bit sorry for Sam. I think he deserved a half century and just to get out in the end there, but got us over the line, and really well played from both of them.
The thing that I thought stood out was the way they didn't panic when those first 2 wickets went down. As you say, the ball was swinging, but they just took a little bit of time, an over or two, to find their feet, and then they went again.
Well, I think that the biggest sort of mantra that they've got is that they've got good defence. They've both been first-class players, so they've got good defence in terms of swing bowling, so they can play a dual role. I thought they didn't go into their shells. They were still looking to be really positive. You saw Hales in the 6th over sort of give himself some room. He had already hit 10 off the over and decided to go again. So just shows sort of the confidence levels out there. And they played their game, and that's all the coaching staff can ask from them. There's some quality players in our outfit, so we just want them to do what they normally do, and those two definitely came to the party today.
Talk to us about Alex Hales, because he just made batting look so simple, didn't he?
Well, I think he absorbed some pressure up front. Wokes was definitely getting it to swing, so he absorbed a little bit up front, but his counter punch is really solid. I think he never panics because he's got so much power at his disposal. So if you've bowled him a good over, he never really panics because he knows he can catch up his strike rate. And you just saw some of those shots. They're not just swinging with power. They finesse. Show some stumps and play a great shot over extra cover. We saw some really good cricket shots. And as I said, that comes from being an all-round cricketer. Having played first-class cricket and moved through the system. So he's not just a T20 bully. He mixes up some power with some real technical finesse.
You mentioned that 6 over extra cover. The over cost 16 from Chris Wokes, the last of the power play. Was that the turning point in the chase, do you think, that over?
I think it was sort of definitely. I saw a few guys sitting slightly easier on their chairs in the dugout after the first 6. We knew we were in a decent position coming back from those 2 wickets. You always looking for to get across the line, and we were always took one sort of decent shot just to ease that pressure. I thought Sam played really well, played the spinners really well, put them under pressure as well, and I think him just shifting gear as well, just that great shot that he hit through sort of a wide mid wicket just showed his feet, his finesse, and now you've got 2 guys that are in and really settled, and that sort of settled the dugout.
Talk to us about the fact that both of those players have come from the Big Bash in Australia. They've had to adapt very quickly, and yet it was absolutely seamless, wasn't it?
Well, I mean, yeah, I think it's better than playing in the England counties and then not playing, having an off season and then coming straight into the tournament. So they have had a lot of training and cricket. There are different facilities here, but they have been hitting a lot of deliveries and a lot of balls. So I think that sort of helped their cause. And now it's just sort of getting to grips with the surfaces. I think we're going to see 3 different type of services here in this competition at the 3 different venues. So the guys are going to have to adapt, and that's going to be a key to our batting, is how quickly we can adapt to the surface.
Talk to us about the surface. Was it a really good toss to win, or didn't the surface change very much throughout the course of the match?
I'm not sure. I think it's always easier to sit from the sidelines and see, but from my point of view, it didn't change too much. There was a little bit of, with the spinners, there was a skid and then a one or two just grip. We saw Moeen Ali's I think his second or third delivery, grip and go past the outside edge. The guy said it was a little bit too paced, a little bit up and down in terms of that new ball and the swing. So it was a little bit difficult up front. So you definitely want to be absorbing that sort of pressure as a batting unit, and as a fielding unit, you really want to be striking and putting the team under pressure in those first 6 when the ball is swinging, and that's what we did today. I thought they recovered really well from 60 odd for 6 to get to 140. Probably it's always good to win matches and then go back and look at your mistakes. We dropped a couple of catches. There were a few plans that went awry, but those are easy to fix and easy to talk about when you've got the points.
Yeah, you mentioned a couple of catches went down. I suppose from a positive point of view as well, the side can reflect on a victory and say, well, do you know what? That wasn't our best game.
Well, I think you're always striving to get better and better and peak throughout the tournament. No one drops catches on purpose, and new lights, new stadiums. There were some quality fielders that dropped those. So it's not a lack of effort. It's just cricket. Those things happen. I think the biggest learnings is not to sit in the change room and think we've dropped some catches and lost the game. I think the big thing is like, okay, well, what can we address, and where can we get better? And we've got the points already, and that's a big plus for us.
You mentioned about the swing there. We saw Sheldon Cottrell swing the ball, and in fact, Colin Munro kept his seamers going in that power play rather than looking to use Rowan Mustafa. Just 1 over from Rowan, in fact, in the entire innings. And then we saw Naveen ul Haq, Junaid Siddiqui, Chris Woakes swing the ball as well. There's been a lot of talk coming into this tournament about the smart ball, whether it's swinging more. We saw it swing in our practice match as well against the Gulf Giants. What's your impression from the sidelines?
Well, I speak to our seam swing guru, Azam Mahmood. I think he says there's a little bit more sort of lacquer on the ball. Even out the flicker when you're throwing to the guys, it's definitely swinging and hooping around. So, he says it's a little bit humid, a little bit colder weather, and it's sort of... He's got his own theories which are normally back, but unfortunately I don't think I'm that equipped and that qualified to deal with it. It has been swinging, that's what we're going to try to sort of negate, and I think we just look for the opportunities. If it is swinging, it's sometimes bowlers can get a little bit floaty, looking for too much swing as opposed to hitting the deck, and sometimes it's quite hard to control that swinging ball, so it gives you some sort of shape, some sort of inclination of where it's going. So we just try and use it as a positive, but it is a weapon for our bowlers, but an opportunity for our batters.
I'll ask you just finally now about the approach there and the fact that victory was achieved with plenty of deliveries to spare. That's great for the net run rate. Is there a perspective within the dressing room, and you as a batting coach, are you speaking to the batters and saying, look, let's make sure we keep going hard to improve our net run rate, because that can be so important at the back end of a tournament, can't it?
Well, I think the lucky thing for us, we've got some experience, quite a bit of experience, and some world-class players in our outfit as well. So there's not too much talking especially from my side. We want the guys to go play their game. I think once they felt that the game was sort of safe and secure, you just saw how Hales just sort of dropped the hammer and put 20 odd in an over. So there's not too much chatting about chasing. We leave a lot up to the players, but they picked for a reason, and they're world-class players for a reason. So he obviously got us over the line and then decided to up the ante, which is perfect. I think if he didn't, we might have had a little conversation out there in terms of our timeout, but actually timeout was a waste of time because they were doing it already.
So happy days then, 1 from 1, and it's all smiles in the camp.
Yeah, it's always smiles in the camp. I think it's always smiles when you're losing as well with this bunch of guys. It's a great sort of team to be working around and with. Very consistent in terms of their emotional, how they portray themselves and how they carry themselves. But 1 from 1, it's a good start, but lots of hard work and just the beginning.